The night I chose my son. I watched my son through the cafe's fogged-up window as snow whipped across the sidewalk. His hands moved fast, but not effortlessly, still learning, still human, as he pulled espresso shots for a growing evening crowd. 21 years old, top of his class in software engineering at McGill University, and still working part-time in a cafe because he refused to live off anyone else. His name was Noah, my son, my anchor, my reason for surviving the last 17 years after his mother, Elena, died in a car accident when he was barely 5. It had always been just the two of us. I worked as a civil engineer, long hours, decent pay, enough for stability. But Noah never wanted comfort handed to him. He wanted dignity earned. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Daniel, my older brother. "You're still coming tomorrow night, right? Christmas Eve, 7 sharp." "Of course," I said. "Noah and I will be there." Silence. Then, carefully, "Listen, Claire was hoping this year could be adults only." I knew exactly what that meant. "He's 21, I said flatly. I know, but she's inviting some business associates, investors. You know how she is." "What's the problem with my son?" Another pause, longer this time. "It's just, he works at a cafe. Claire thinks it might give the wrong impression." I stared through the glass at Noah, laughing with an elderly customer he greeted by name every shift. "He works to pay his tuition. He has a perfect GPA." "Yes, but they won't know that. They'll just see service staff." The word staff landed like a slap. "We'll be there," I said, and hung up. I didn't tell Noah about the call. That night, Noah ironed a second-hand button-down like it was a designer suit. "He's Uncle Daniel's place is huge," he smiled. "Remember the ice sculpture last year?" I remember. "He got Aunt Claire a gift. French soaps. Took me a few weeks to save." My chest ached. "She'll love it," I lied. Daniel and Claire's lake house in Laurentian Hills looked like it belonged in a magazine. Glass walls, heated driveway, cars that cost more than my annual salary. We arrived early. Claire opened the door wearing diamonds and a smile that died the second she saw Noah. "You're early," she said. "We thought we'd help." "No need." Her eyes dropped to Noah's shirt. "Daniel's in his office," she said to me. Then, turning to Noah, "Would you mind waiting in the garage? Some guests are sensitive to smells. Coffee tends to cling." Noah stiffened. "I showered." "I'm sure you did," she interrupted, "but it lingers." I opened my mouth. "It's okay, Dad," Noah whispered. "I'll wait." And before I could stop him, he walked away. The garage was spotless, too clean to feel human. Noah sat on a folding chair eating a plastic-wrapped sandwich. "They had these for the gardeners," he said, forcing a smile. My hands shook. Then he told me everything. Being laughed at, being seated in kitchens, receiving a $3 keychain for Christmas while his cousins got electronics and vacations. "For 5 years," he said quietly, "but I didn't want you to lose your brother." Something broke inside me. When dinner started, they seated Noah by the service door. Claire's daughter laughed when a waiter bumped his chair. "At least he's used to restaurants, right, coffee boy?" Laughter followed. I stood. "My son works harder than anyone at this table. He pays his own way. He earned internships at companies your children couldn't spell." Claire stood too. "Get out of my house." I turned to Daniel. He stayed seated. That was his answer. As we walked out, I passed a towering champagne display. I took one glass. The entire structure collapsed. Crystal, bubbles, silence. "My son serves coffee to survive. Your children can't even serve themselves." We left. Weeks later, Claire sent a legal notice demanding money.
I answered with one threat: exposure. She backed down. Daniel disappeared. Months passed. Noah thrived. Then, one afternoon, Daniel showed up at my garage. She cheated, he said, for 2 years. Divorce followed. Regret followed faster. I chose wrong, he said. You chose late, I replied. Noah forgave him first, because that's who my son is. Today, Noah works as a software engineer, still humble, still kind, still respectful to everyone, because character isn't taught by money, it's taught by example. And that Christmas Eve, in a garage filled with silence and shame, my son learned one thing that will matter more than any degree: that when it counted, his father stood up.
The house felt quieter after that Christmas. Not peaceful, hollow. Noah never talked about the garage again, but I saw it in the way he moved afterward. Straighter shoulders, fewer jokes, a kind of maturity that comes when innocence is stripped away without consent. He threw himself into his studies, classes, projects, late nights at the cafe, never complained, never asked for help. One night in February, I found him at the kitchen table at 2 a.m., laptop open, cold coffee untouched. "You're going to burn yourself out," I said. He shrugged. "I like being tired. Means I'm earning something." That broke my heart more than anything Claire had ever said. The letter. In March, the letter arrived. Not from Daniel, from a law firm. Cold language, polite threats, $4,200 in damages, antique rug, imported glassware, 7 days to respond. I stared at the paper for a long time, then folded it once and placed it gently on the counter, like you would a dangerous object. Then I called my lawyer, and for the first time in years, I stopped being polite. The response went out the same day. Documented incidents, witnesses, dates, messages, a clear pattern of emotional abuse toward a minor that extended into adulthood. We didn't threaten loudly. We threatened accurately. The demand vanished. So did Daniel. Spring. Winter loosened its grip. Noah didn't. He finished the semester with honors again. Then came the email, Google, interview, then another, then an offer. When he read it aloud, his voice shook. "I got it, Dad." I hugged him so hard he laughed. "They want me in Montreal for the summer," he said. They said I stood out." "You always do," I said. "You just never needed their permission." The return. Daniel came back in April. I was under the car when I heard footsteps in the driveway. Didn't look up. "I should have come sooner," he said. "Yes," I replied. Silence stretched. "She cheated," he said quietly. 2 years, business partner. I slid out from under the car and finally looked at him. He looked smaller. "I lost everything trying to keep her, and I lost you anyway." "You didn't lose me," I said. "You walked away." His eyes filled. "I chose comfort over courage." "That's the difference between us," I said. "I couldn't afford to." Noah's choice. Daniel asked to see Noah. I didn't answer for him. Noah did. They met at the cafe. Daniel ordered coffee. Noah made it. "I'm sorry for all of it," Daniel said. Noah listened, didn't interrupt, didn't soften it. Finally, he said, "I forgive you, but forgiveness isn't trust. You have to earn that." Daniel nodded. "I know." And for the first time, he actually meant it. Rebuilding. Daniel showed up, not with gifts, not with excuses, with consistency. He attended Noah's presentations, asked questions, listened, learned. After the divorce, Daniel moved into a modest condo, sold the cars, let the image go. "I don't miss it," he admitted once. "I miss who I was before I became afraid." Full circle. That summer, Noah came home glowing every evening. "They treat the janitor like he runs the place," he said once. "I like that." By August, they offered him a full-time role after graduation. He accepted, quietly, proudly. We celebrated with burgers on the grill and cheap beer. Daniel came too. No champagne towers, no photographers, just real laughter. What lasted? Noah still works hard, still tips generously, still remembers names, still believes dignity isn't tied to income. Because one night, in a spotless garage filled with quiet cruelty, he learned something most people never do: that love isn't silence, that family is action, and that when someone tries to make you feel small, you stand, or someone who loves you stands for you, and that changes everything. Time has a way of revealing what noise hides. Years passed, not dramatically, not loudly, but steadily, like something healing the way bone does after it's been broken. Noah graduated at the top of his class. They called his name at the ceremony, and when he walked across that stage, I didn't clap at first. I couldn't. My hands were shaking too badly. I just stood there, tears running down my face, thinking of Elena, thinking of every night she'd stayed up rocking him, whispering promises she never got to see fulfilled. When Noah found me afterward, diploma in hand, he hugged me and said, "You did this too." I shook my head. No, I just stayed. And sometimes that's everything. The job. Noah started full-time at Google that summer. New title, new badge, same old backpack. He still took the bus sometimes, even though he could afford a car 10 times better than my Honda. "Why?" I asked once. "Because I don't want to forget who I was before people treated me differently," he said. That's when I knew. The garage hadn't hardened him, it had clarified him. Daniel's reckoning. Daniel changed quietly. No speeches, no grand gestures, just showed up. He worked longer hours, cooked for himself, learned how to be alone without being empty. Madison fought him every step of the way. Carter leaned in. One night, Daniel called me, voice cracking. She asked why I didn't buy her a new car, he said. I told her I was saving for her education instead. She called me cheap. I smiled sadly. That's the sound of unlearning entitlement. He laughed, then cried. The cafe. One evening, Noah and I went back to the cafe. Same smells, same chipped mugs, same tired espresso machine. Mrs. Chen still ordered her vanilla latte. Noah made it himself. When she saw him, she beamed. "My favorite barista," she said. "I'm not here anymore," Noah told her gently. "I work in tech now." She patted his hand. "Doesn't matter. You were kind when you didn't have to be." When we left, Noah stood in the doorway a moment longer. "That place taught me more than school ever did," he said. The question. One night, as we sat on the porch watching the city lights flicker on, Noah asked, "Do you ever regret it, the champagne thing?" I laughed, really laughed. "No," he smiled. "Good, because I tell that story to my friends. Not about the glass, about you standing up." He paused. "If I ever have kids, I hope I'm brave like that." The words hit harder than any insult ever could. What endures? We don't talk about Claire anymore. She moved on, so did we. Some people exist in your life only to teach you what you refuse to become, and some moments define you forever. That Christmas Eve wasn't about wealth or pride or humiliation. It was about a father choosing his son, about refusing to let love be quiet, about showing a young man without doubt or hesitation that his worth was never negotiable. The legacy. Years from now, Noah will forget the names of the companies. He'll forget the job titles, but he'll remember this, that when the room went silent, when the powerful sneered, when the door was closing, someone stood. And that is how legacies are built. Not in mansions, not in money, but in moments where love costs something, and you pay it gladly.